What's up, guys? We're back with episode 10 of Coaster Cafe. And I don't know how many of you guys saw my community post earlier, but I have decided, sort of a last minute decision, but I decided to actually move the regular time of my 8 p.m. live stream to this noon time that we're doing. I've done this noon time a couple times. In recent weeks because of other commitments that I had where I had to do it earlier. And I actually found that this noon time actually works a lot better for me. And instead of having to push it back like every other show, I figured why not just make 12 p.m. the regular time. I did polls on Instagram and on YouTube asking what people thought about the 8 p.m. versus the 12 p.m. time. The overwhelming majority said that it seems to work out a lot better for me. Why not just make this a 12 p.m. show on a regular basis? So welcome to the new time slot for Coaster Cafe. Starting here, it's now official, episode 10. We have a new time slot, 12 p.m. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Coaster Cafe is now going to be regularly scheduled at 12 p.m. every Saturday. All right. So, hope you guys are doing well. I see we got some more people coming in here. So as usual, we'll wait for a few more people to pour in before we start getting into some of the really substantial news things and stuff like that. But as usual, what we're going to be doing is the intro. I'll talk about what kind of coffee I'm drinking, which I need to get some new coffee to talk about. I just kind of been drinking the same things over and over. But we'll talk about the coffee I'm drinking. This is Coaster Cafe after all. And then after that, we're going to discuss all the news things. We're going to discuss a lot of news topics surrounding the roller coaster and amusement park industry. And then after the news, we're going to do a trivia section where I'm going to ask you guys 2 trivia questions related to amusement parks. And then after trivia, I'm going to open it up for the Q&A. And so you guys can ask me whatever you want. So try to have some interesting questions ready, some really burning things that you guys have always wanted me to answer. And I'll try to do my best to answer all of them. Okay. So, there's been a lot of things going on lately. This might be kind of a crazy show, but I'm looking forward to having all you guys here and talking about it. So, one other thing I want to address real quick before I promise I'll stop stalling after this. Okay. But, before we actually start talking about things, Stamford Bridge, I'll have an update on Indiana Beach later. Okay. So in the news portion, I will give you guys an update on Indiana Beach. We did hear something really recently, actually. So, anyway, before I get into the meat of the show, I just want to say last week's live stream did not go very well. I mean, it was going fine, but then about 40 minutes in things throughout the whole show, there was something weird going on with like my Wi-Fi connection. And it was really spotty, and I kept disconnecting and reconnecting it, trying to resolve the issue. I kept having the same issue. And then ultimately, I ended up having to end the live stream really early. And even still, like 3 minutes of that live stream ended up getting cut out of the final upload of it for some reason because of that connection. So like that upload doesn't even have like the outro that I did. It just, I don't know what happened there. So cross your fingers. Hopefully we do not have the same issues this week. So I apologize in advance in case there's any technical issues. It was beyond my control. It was just my Wi-Fi for some reason wasn't being right. So hopefully we don't have the same issues this week and we can actually do the whole show because we actually missed out on the whole Q&A portion last week. So without further ado, enough talking. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. First of all, what am I drinking on this afternoon? One of my favorite mugs here. I got my handy Maverick mug. I love this thing. And I am drinking this Dunkin' Donuts dark roast, Dunkin' Dark. Love Dunkin' Donuts coffee. They make one of the most consistent quality um traditional coffees out there for sure. I prefer it over Starbucks as far as like just the regular, just the regular ground coffee. I definitely prefer Dunkin' over Starbucks. And I compare them because they're the two big chains in America here. But so yeah, I'm drinking on that, and it's all good. So, but we're gonna go into our news section here. So as you guys know, the past week or so, or just the past few days, really, has been absolutely crazy with not just the amusement industry, but this is of course an issue that is affecting the whole country and the world, really. The coronavirus, as you know, is is a pandemic situation right now. A lot of people are really freaking out about it, and it definitely is something to take very seriously. I'm not downplaying its importance. I think a lot of people are overreacting a bit, um, but it's definitely something we need to take very seriously. And please wash your hands, people. I've always washed my hands, and I don't know why this is an issue. Um, it- just wash your hands. It's gross. Okay. It's gross if you don't wash your hands. Just wash them, stay clean, and try to prevent the spread of this because we don't need any more of this going around. Um, so that's my PSA right there for you. Um, but obviously, the news of the coronavirus, the pandemic situation, it's really affecting amusement parks and any kind of social event out in the public. Um, so basically, governments are ordering, large public gatherings of a certain amount of people or more to be postponed or canceled. So basically, they can't happen right now. But in the realm of amusement parks, it's there's a lot of questions going around. Probably more questions than answers right now. Dollywood just opened for the season yesterday on March 13th, and they're already closed today. And they actually postponed. They were supposed to make a huge announcement yesterday as well. Because of the coronavirus situation, they postponed that media day for that announcement. And the park is closed until the end of March, as are many, many other parks. But they are by no means the only park affected. So, yeah, we'll just jump right into this here. So, lots of park closures. All Six Flags parks are closed until the end of March. All SeaWorld parks, Dollywood, Silver Dollar City, all Disney parks, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, and also California's Great America, Carowinds, Kings Dominion. They're all delayed until April, so they will not be opening until April now. And then, of course, bleeding into April, they're going to assess the situation at that time. But, it could go on even longer than that. Or, who knows? Maybe it'll end there. It very well could be extended, though. And I know, like, for myself, I was planning on going to Kings Island's opening day to ride Orion, which is on April 11th. And that's really cutting it close there. If it gets extended any further than, the end of March, like all these parks are doing now, I probably won't make it to that opening day because they probably won't be open. But of course, we have to wait and see what happens. Who knows? None of us can really say what's going to happen. We just have to wait and see. And honestly, this is a really important thing. And even though it really sucks about all these parks closing or delaying their openings, um, you know, it's this is something that has to be done. We do not want this spreading any more than it has to. And if that means sacrificing, some of the amusement park season, that's what it's going to come down to. A lot of industries are being affected by this. So it's not just amusement parks. Yes, it is a national emergency now. So, all right. So into some more More news topics here. I guess workers are returning to Shanghai Disney Resort. So I guess you know, they were, you know, laid off or whatever for the coronavirus. I didn't really read into this, but workers are returning to Shanghai Disney Resort. Um, in other news, Kennywood has announced that Garfield's Nightmare will be gone for 2020. The old mill will return with some new twists. So if you guys don't know, Garfield's Nightmare, which is a like tunnel of love sort of ride, it used to be the old mill among many other things. It opened as the old mill in like 1901. It's a really, really old ride. It's been Garfield's Nightmare for 15 years. I know a lot of people really hated Garfield's Nightmare. Personally, I'm kind of gonna miss it. It kind of nostalgic for me because I went to Kennywood in 2005, and that's the first time I rode Garfield's Nightmare. Um, and I did enjoy it. You know, even it was nothing crazy, fantastic, or out of this world or anything, but you know, it was cheesy and corny and all that. It was themed to Garfield, but I always had a good time on it. I always loved it. And I will miss it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to ride it when I returned to Kennywood in 2019 because it was just so busy that day. So I didn't even ride it. I wish I would have rode it now, but you know, I'll miss Garfield's Nightmare, but I'm really looking forward to see the old mill because I never got to ride it as the old mill. So I think it'll be fantastic. I have faith in them. I think they can pull it off. All right. Frontier City. Their coaster Diamondback. Um, that's two words, not one word Diamondback like Kings Island, but Diamondback is getting a roof on the station to help, you know, with the sun and the hot summer heat and everything. So I guess that's cool. And also their goat carts are being removed. So I don't know what that means, if it does mean anything or not. But yeah, their goat carts are being removed. And also Diamondback is getting a roof. Okay. SeaWorld San Diego has begun testing Emperor, the new for 2020 dive coaster by B&M. Let me just tell you guys, I haven't seen the testing footage of this yet. I'll have to go watch that later on. But I've seen construction pictures and everything and the layout for this new dive coaster, and it looks great. Honestly, it looks like a really good, it looks like one of the best dive coasters in America, to be honest. Um, the only one I've currently been on is, you know, Valraven, which is at my home park. Not a fan of Valraven. I am not a fan of it. You guys probably know that. I think it's just really dull and boring overall. It's okay. It's an okay supporting coaster for Cedar Point, I think. Um, but um, yeah, I'm not a fan of Valraven. Yukon Striker looks pretty good. Have yet to ride it, but Emperor just looks like a really good smaller scale dive coaster. It looks like a great layout. So it's a little different from all the other ones in America. And I do look forward to trying other dive coasters eventually. I'm sure they'll be better than Valraven. They have to be, honestly. All right. The other big ride, well, the probably the big ride for 2020, I should say, Iron Gwazi has begun testing, and they have actually ran it with test riders. Man, it looks fantastic. I've seen the testing footage for this. It looks great. I mean, what it's basically what we all expected. It's an arms, you know, maybe in a couple years or so, I'll get to Busch Gardens Tampa. So Iron Gwazi looks fantastic. It really does. Even though it's testing, it's had test riders and everything. Still don't have a POV for it. So I would like to see a POV, but we'll get one eventually. Even if it's on, you know, media day when it opens, we'll get a POV eventually. So all right. I don't know a lot about this next topic, but I know it's not really something very positive. But the Dubai Parks and Resorts are going to be restructuring. And I was looking at this Screamscapes, what they wrote up about it. And basically, it looks like they're not doing great, so they have to restructure a lot of things. Of course, the Six Flags Dubai Park was canceled. That was one of the projects with this group. And you know how those Six Flags International Parks go. Well, yeah, Dubai Parks and Resorts, it looks like they're not doing the greatest, and they have to restructure. So Las Vegas MGM Resorts are planning to close their buffets. Well, I think they have at this point. But, due to coronavirus health concerns as far as like spreading germs, there's also something on there about people thinking maybe it was like a financial, like a cost cutting measure too. I don't know. But in any case, their buffets are closed. Probably a good move for a place like that, at a Las Vegas resort. All right, we talked about all the parks that are closed, which is the next thing on here. Lots of park closures. And the last thing, I wanted to end the news section on a more positive note. All right, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is regarding Indiana Beach. Okay. So, like I said, I did want to end this this news section on a more positive note, and this is this is positive in some regards. It's regarding Indiana Beach. I believe just yesterday. Let me see. Yeah, just yesterday, Indiana Beach Amusement and Water Park Resort update. It's from March 13th, 2020. Some people got this email, and I will read it to you guys right now. So, Indiana Beach Amusement and Water Park Resort leaders continue to pursue potential buyers for the resort complex. Campsite holders, season pass holders, and the community have been incredibly supportive. While the company has been in discussions with amusement industry leaders, brokers, and investors for more than a year, announcement of the park's closing has sparked new interest. Working together with city and county leaders, the company is hopeful that a suitable buyer will be identified and the park will be operational in 2020. We ask for continued patience with the assurance that more information will be forthcoming as soon as possible. Sincerely, your friends at Indiana Beach Amusement and Water Park Resort. Okay, so that's actually that sounds pretty positive. I know they've already started taking down some of the assets at the park, and I think even taking out some of the smaller rides. But there is still hope. As this email says, the company is hopeful, keyword hopeful, that they will find a potential buyer to possibly have the park open for the 2020 season. Now, I think that's a little bit of a stretch at this point. If it takes much longer to find a buyer, I don't know if they would have time to open up for this season. But even if it doesn't open up until next season, at least, it would reopen. But of course, nothing is confirmed. We don't know if there's going to be a buyer yet. So I wouldn't get your hopes up too high, but there is some hope. It sounds like they're really trying, and everyone is really trying to cooperate as far as finding a company that is a new company in the best interest for the park. So we'll see what the future holds for Indiana Beach. Okay, yeah, Stamford Bridge. Perhaps a little bit more of a cynical look at it, but I see your point. He says that email doesn't sound like much of a glimmer of hope, as it says nothing is happening, but at least they're still trying, supposedly. Yeah, I respect that opinion. They are still trying, and I think they're putting in a pretty good effort. It sounds like, I mean, they make it sound like that anyway. So hopefully they are. And if Indiana Beach does reopen, I think it's going to be a lot different. Hopefully better, actually. Hopefully, if anybody does buy this, hopefully they'll improve it a lot over what it was. But I think it will be different from the old Indiana Beach, regardless of who buys it. if nothing else, just for the fact that they're already taking some of the things out of the park. So, but hopefully Indiana Beach has a bright future ahead of it. We can still hope, you know. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah, definitely far better than sorry we're closing for sure. Which is the news we got, you know, about a month ago. And that, I mean, that still could happen, you know. Um, like I said, nothing is confirmed. They said they're hopeful they'll find a potential buyer. So hopefully there are some people who are seriously interested in buying the park. All right. We talked about all of our news topics here. So I think we can get into our next section. As you guys know, we do trivia here. Okay, so we're gonna do our trivia now. I have 2 questions for you guys. So let's see. The first question. This is this is a pretty simple question, but I figured why not. What was Vecoma's first ever roller coaster? So the Dutch manufacturer Vekoma. What was their first ever roller coaster? Name and park. Give me a name and park. Okay, it was an MK 1200 model, but the name of the coaster and the park that the first one was at, because it was their first coaster. Their first coaster was an MK 1200. It was not Sea Serpent at Maury's Piers. It was not Boomerang at Six Flags Mexico. No. Okay, Christian Moss is onto something. Corkscrew with Bear and Curve model, but not sure where. It was not Prater. No. It was a corkscrew with Bear and Curve model. Yes, the MK 1200. It was that model. But does anybody know the name and the park? Opened in 1979, by the way. It was not Python Efteling, not Corkscrew Dalton Towers, not Holiday Park, not Corkscrew P&A Playland. Good guess, though. Not Ninja at Six Flags St. Louis. All right. Are you guys ready for the answer? So the first wait. Are we onto something? Okay, Christian Moss is onto something. Super something. All right. So he kind of has it there. All right. So the first ever Vekoma coaster was called Super Spiral. It was at Movie Park, Germany. It operated there from 1979 to 1986. After operating at Movie Park, Germany, it moved to Jolly Roger Amusement Park in Ocean City, Maryland, where it operated from 1987 to 1993, and it was known as Time Twister. And then 20th Century Fox World in Malaysia operated the coaster from somewhere between 1994 to 1997, all the way through 2013. And it was known as Corkscrew. And when it was there, it was repainted and refurbished sometime in 2004 or 2005. And it was also given newer style Vekoma trains with the vest restraints for the 2009 season. It is no longer operational. It's defunct. As far as I know, it's completely scrapped. But yeah, it closed there in 2013. But this featured a height of 75 feet, a drop of 68 feet, top speed of 40 miles per hour, and had a track length of 2,400 feet. And the layout featured double corkscrew inversions. So it was one of those really simple clone layouts. There was a decent amount of them built. Only 2 are operating currently. But the Bear and Curve double corkscrew model, basically it was just like a lift, a turn into the first drop, You go around a couple turns and then through the 2 corkscrews, maybe like another turn or helix or something, and then into the brakes. So just super simple, really small, compact layout. Um, not too dissimilar from the Aero counterparts, like the smaller looping models, like double loop at Geauga Lake, corkscrew at Cedar Point, so on and so forth. It was basically their version of those Aero looping coasters. Good guesses, guys. You guys had a lot of good guesses there. So I wouldn't have known the answer. I just knew it because I looked it up, for this question. So and of course the Vekoma Baron Curve MK1200 model was what was used for the One Final Destination movie. Corkscrew at Peony Playland was the coaster they used for that movie, which is actually SB&O right now. They closed that ride down, and they will take it out eventually. So, all right. The next trivia question is just something that's a little off the cuff. You guys probably won't know the answer to this unless you just happen to guess it right. It's more of a personal question, so you will not find the answer on RCDB. But the next question, okay. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, believe it or not, I have not always been a coaster father, spewing all of my amusement park knowledge upon the adoring masses, okay, of the whole 11 people watching right now. I have not always been a daddy, okay. So, at one point, I was a little coaster boy, okay, and as such, I requested that my mother paint my room in a particular color scheme. Um, when I was real, I was obsessed with Scooby Doo, and my room was decorated in all kinds of Scooby Doo things. But I requested as a little coaster boy that my mother paint my room. And as I was maturing, I was still young, but I was maturing. I was a teenager. I was getting close to becoming a teenager. I was into more grown up things like roller coasters. So, what color scheme did was my bedroom painted in? It was based off of a roller coaster. So, what roller coaster color scheme was Young Coaster Daddy's room painted in? Probably nobody will know this. Just saying. But to give you a little hint, I did talk about the park earlier in this live stream. I did talk about this park a little bit earlier, but I've talked about a lot of parks in this live stream. So which one was it? Oh my gosh, we have the right answer. Holy crap. Somebody answered it right. All right. Are you guys ready? Coaster Lover 2001 guessed it correctly. Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood. That's right. I requested that my mom paint my room in the colors of Phantom's Revenge. So I had there was like this trim, like this wood trim that went along like the middle of the wall all the way around the room. So that little like wood trim was painted black. And then the top part of the wall above the trim was painted like the greenish color, like Phantom's Revenge. And then the bottom part below the trim was purple. So yeah, it was that green, purple, and then the black trim. So pretty badass right there. If I must say so myself, I think I made a pretty good choice as a 10, 11-year-old coaster enthusiast to have my room painted in that color scheme. So okay, a chair rail. I didn't know the proper term. So Tim K says that trim is actually called a chair rail. So kudos to you. Yeah, Phantom's Revenge. Just imagine that. Oh, okay. See, I forgot that I mentioned that. Coaster Lover 2001 said he remembers the color scheme from my 500 subscribers video. I forgot that I mentioned it in that video. So, all right, cool. Good. You're paying attention. I like it. Oh, somebody has a question for me. Um, what was the first wooden roller coasters to have magnetic brakes? I really don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Tim K is over here spewing his construction knowledge, guys. So, okay, well, I guess we can go into the section that this went really quick this week. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode altogether. But half hour in, we're done with trivia. I guess we can go into the Q&A now. Oh, Lost Coaster in Indiana Beach. Okay. All right. So, questions. Do you guys have any good questions for me? Do I watch Coaster Studios coaster parodies? Do I think Taylor should add a Great Adventure fanboy? I do watch his coaster parodies. I don't think he should add a Great Adventure fanboy. His coaster parodies are great, honestly. Coaster Studios is an awesome channel. I watched his top 25 that he released about a week or so ago. Some real surprises on there, but I always enjoy watching them, and it's interesting to hear opinions from somebody that has been on over 700 roller coasters. I mean, he's one of the only people on like the online YouTube community who really like talks about his experiences on all these coasters around the world and not just the US. So I always like hearing his perspective on things like that. So Kyle Coster says, I just joined a few minutes ago. Will the live stream be at 12 p.m. every week now? Yes, it will. I did talk about that at the beginning of the show. For anybody that missed it, my regular time now will be right now, noon, 12 p.m. Eastern for my live stream every Saturday. I found out it just works a lot better for me. So instead of pushing it back to this time on a regular basis, why not just make it the regular time? It just makes more sense. Chaos says, who do you think that Vekoma, who do you think did the corkscrew model better, Vekoma or Arrow? Probably Arrow. I haven't ridden a Vekoma one, but I'll say Arrow. When will I visit Canada's Wonderland? Says Hellfire. I don't know. Maybe next year. I'll try to get out there next year, probably. We'll see what happens. When will CP open? It is supposed to open May 9th currently, so we'll see. Chaos says, do you think there will be any more new major roller coaster manufacturers? That's an interesting thing to think about. I think eventually there will be. I don't think anybody is going to come close to like touching RMC though anytime soon. I think it might take a while, but I think there will be some new major roller coaster manufacturers. And I think maybe even some of the smaller ones that have been really grinding it out for many, many decades now could come forth as new major manufacturers if they do the right things in the future. Like maybe even like Mauer or like Zir, or I mean, Zir does do some major things anyway, but Coaster Lover 2001. Are you going to Keys to the Kingdom, Hollywood Nights, and Coaster Mania? Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to Coaster Mania because I'm going on my huge trip the next day. So I'm not going to go to Cedar Point the night before. I'm leaving for my week-long trip. Keys to the Kingdom, I don't think I'm going. And Hollywood Nights, I'm going to try to make it there. I really want to make it, but it's the weekend before that big trip. I don't know how well it's going to work out. So we'll see what happens. I am a member of ACE now, by the way, so I can actually, utilize that for going to parks and getting into events and things like that. So pretty awesome. Hellfire says, who do you think will get the next generation Vekoma in North America? Oh man, that's a good question. Maybe a Six Flags park. I think maybe some kind of Six Flags park will get the next generation Vekoma at some point, maybe in a couple years. I don't know. Bill Meters, I don't remember ever seeing you before, so welcome to the show. I apologize if I'm incorrect on that, but Bill Meter says, I'm just currently hoping that Kings Island opened as scheduled. I need an Orion ride. I completely agree with you. I really want to go opening day. Hopefully everything works out. We'll have to cross our fingers and see what happens. Stanford Bridge, do you have any desire to ride Zip and Pippin in Green Bay? I would love to ride Zip and Pippin. I love old school classic wooden coasters, and I just love that they took an old ride and just Gravity Group completely rebuilt that ride. And Zip and Pippin, if you guys don't know, I'll have to bring this up in trivia sometime. Yeah, I'm gonna save that for trivia. You guys probably know where I'm going at, but I'll save it for trivia. But yeah, Zip and Pippin, I think looks like a fantastic ride. I would love to get on it if I'm ever around there. Kyle Coster says, when do you think that this whole coronavirus closing stuff will be over so everything will open again? Well, hopefully after this closure of all these parks, through the end of March, hopefully everything's good after that. But I really can't speculate on that because I don't know, honestly. Rings of Earth. Have you heard of a game show called Deal or No Deal in 2018 at Universal Orlando? They filmed episodes there. Of course, I've heard of that. Yeah. I don't watch those game shows, but that's pretty cool, I guess. Chaos. How have you seen Theme Park Crazy new roller coaster poll about roller coaster concepts? They are crazy. Yes, I have. Lots of crazy stuff. Oh, Bill Meters, I remember you now. You commented on my video. You say you're the daddy with a 4-year-old that calls Diamondback the slippery snake. I remember that. That's awesome. The slippery snake. I love it. I love Diamondback. I love that nickname. That's awesome. Carson Smith says, "Do you think BGT will get a Giga?" Um, I'm gonna say no, at least not for the foreseeable future. At least not like the next 5 years or anything. Maybe later on down the road, I could see them getting one. Hopefully, a really good, one with a good full circuit layout. Tim K. Technically, didn't Dollywood already get a new generation of Vekoma? You know what? You have a good point. That's correct. We haven't seen a really super high thrill one in the United States yet, but yes, Dragon Flyer is a great ride, and it is technically a new generation Vekoma in the United States. Coaster Lover 2001 says, I started uploading countdowns to my channel. I have 3 uploads so far, and I plan on uploading one each week. Nice. Hopefully that works out for you. I'll have to go check out your stuff. I look forward to it. Do you do any commentary stuff, or is it just like music countdowns? Hellfire says, which park has the most balanced coaster lineup? I'm probably missing some things in my mind right now, but I mean, Cedar Point, I feel like has a really balanced lineup for the most part, just because they have almost every single major model out there. Besides like a Flyer or a newer wooden coaster, they have like pretty much every single major model that you could want in one single park. So I'll go with Cedar Point, I guess. Chaos asks, what is my prediction on Six Flags? Do I think they will go bankrupt? I think they're going to face a lot of difficulties here with this current situation in the States. I'm going to say that they're not going to go bankrupt yet, but I think they're going to have a lot of financial difficulties, and I think they'll have to make some really important decisions that might really affect next season. So, oh, good. I love commentary countdowns. Yes, I'm glad you're doing commentary countdowns and not just the music ones. I'm not really a fan of the music ones myself, so I really can't wait to check it out. I will check it out. So thank you. Chaos says, I know this is old, but I still feel bad for Canada Coaster Fan. I do too. That's just really shitty what happened to him. Loved his channel. He spent a lot of, many years building that up. It was one of the very first. Actually, right after Coaster Studios, he was the next one that I started watching when I got back into coasters. So really sad there that he lost his original account. Rings of Earth says they might sell some parks, referring to Six Flags. Good point. This might be a good time for them to get rid of some of those parks. Six Flags is always trying to open new parks overseas, and they're buying more parks and selling them just left and right. I really think they need to focus on just United States, their core market, focus on working on those things first before they start to branch out and buy parks and build new parks. They need to focus, and hopefully their new CEO will help with that. Coaster Lover 2001 says, if I ever run out of countdowns to make, I'm going to try to upload reviews and possibly reaction videos. All right. I look forward to watching them. So, like I said, I'll go check it out. Carson Smith says, do you think that Universal's Epic Universe will get a new generation Vekoma flying coaster themed to How to Train Your Dragon in the future? I hope they get one. Do I think they'll get one? I'm going to say no, because I really don't know much about Epic Universe and all that, or the speculation surrounding it. But hopefully they would get one of those. I would love to see that. And hopefully that one at Phantasialand finally opens this year. It looks awesome. So Coaster Lover 2001, watch them sell Frontier City and Darien Lake. Yeah, they'll probably just spit those parks back out again. I could see that. Hellfire asked, do I play any coaster games? Good question. Nobody's ever asked me this before. So actually, when I was originally a very young enthusiast, I was addicted to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 specifically. I did play RCT 1 and RCT 3 a little bit as well, but I mostly played RCT 2. I was hooked. I played it 24/7. Love that game. Fantastic game to this day. And then fast forward, 15 years later or whatever, a couple years ago, I discovered Open RCT2, and I got addicted to that. And I was playing that for several months, and I haven't played it in quite some time, but it's a fantastic game. I love Open RCT2. It's awesome. And I actually bought Planet Coaster last year as well when it was on sale, and I haven't played it a lot. I have not played any of those games in many, many months now. I need to open up Planet Coaster again and get more familiar with it, because all I've really done for the most part is just build coasters, and I haven't done a lot of scenery and paths and things like that, or working on the infrastructure of the parks. But I have actually considered doing coaster concepts or whatever in Planet Coaster and uploading them to my channel. So I might do that at some point, but I really need to work on my track smoothing and things like that, and just making things look good in Planet Coaster. So Stanford Bridge, can't remember if you've been asked this, but what are your favorite dark rides? Well, I've been on Devil's Den at Conneaut Lake Park. I've been on Ghostwood Estates at Kennywood. I've been on Boo Blasters at Carowinds. I've been on Blazing Fury at Dollywood. And Wacky Shack at Waldemere. And Wacky Shack all the way. I love Wacky Shack at Waldemere. Such an awesome ride. I love it. Rings of Earth says, I can see Six Flags getting rid of Great Escape and Six Flags America. I could see that, and I think that would actually be good if somebody else could step in and help those parks. Chaos says, do you think B&M will go back and use the older restraints on the dive and inverted coasters? I don't see that happening, really. I think the only thing you use them for now is when they retrofit the old stand-ups with floorless trains, because they can't use the vests on those. Satnav007 asks, have you ever been to any of the UK theme parks? Nope, I've never been to the UK. I would love to get some of those parks, though. Coaster Lover 2001 says, I used to play RCT3 and No Limits 1 during my young days of being an enthusiast. That's awesome. I've never played No Limits or ever had it or anything like that. Looks awesome, though. I would love, you can do a lot of really realistic stuff on there, so... Satnav007, I apologize if you've already answered that question in the past. I've only just subscribed the other day. LOL. Oh, no bad. And welcome to my live stream. Great to have you here. Hopefully I'll see you again in the future, and hopefully you're enjoying what you see. Thank you for subscribing. But yeah, it's all good. Nobody has actually asked me that question. I haven't been to any parks outside of the US. So Kyle Coster asks, what roller coaster were you most surprised about from Coaster Studios' top 25 roller coasters? Probably the placement of his top three, I would say. Definitely that surprised me quite a bit. So his top three were in no particular order were El Toro, Steel Vengeance, and Lightning Rod. And I was surprised about the order. So Tim K says, I actually think Six Flags was pretty happy with Darien Lake, particularly the campground. Okay, well, it looks like a great park with a ton of potential. So hopefully they really tap into that potential and make it what it could be. It looks like it could be a phenomenal park, and hopefully they RMC Predator. That could be such a badass RMC if they let RMC do their magic on that. Oh, by the way, random thing here. I'm repping my Raven shirt. I love Raven at Holiday World, so love it, love it. I need to get back there this year, even if I don't go for Hollywood Nights. I really do want to get there at some point. So it's been 5 years, way too long, and I didn't get to ride Legend because they were retracking it. So, all right. Chaos asked me, do you think that they will go and get rid of the trims on Lightning Rod? Where are the trims on Lightning Rod? Because I don't remember any trims when I wrote it. I wrote it 7 times, and I do not remember any trims on any of my rides. So, where are the trims at on Lightning Rod? Does anybody know? All right, Coaster Lover 2001 says, I played RCT3 more because I wasn't very good with No Limits. I've thought about playing RCT3 again in the recent past for nostalgia. And, RCT3 is a great game. I don't think it's as good as RCT2 in many ways, but I do like the 3D aspect of it. So it's basically just RCT2, but 3D, in my opinion. It's pretty much the same for the most part, but you can watch the rides, the POVs. So, Coaster Lover 2001, my latest coaster countdown has the Raven in it. I'll have to go check that out for sure. Okay, Hellfire says there's a trim at the top of the lift hill on Lightning Rod. Okay. I was thinking it might have been the lift hill, but I just didn't notice it at all. So on the launch. Okay. I know they did slow down the launch, so maybe they just slowed down the launch. Because I know they did do that. Rings of Earth says I saw RCT4 and it looks awful. Okay, when you say RCT4, are you referring to like the new like Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic, which is just a rehash of the classic games, or like the mobile game? Or are you talking about the one that was competing with Planet Coaster that was an absolute flop? Roller Coaster Tycoon World. That's what it was called. I think you're referring to World. Nobody likes that game. There's a lot of bugs with that from what I've heard. It looks fantastic. It looks like it has a lot of potential, so it's really unfortunate, but yeah, I'm looking at screenshots again right now of Roller Coaster Tycoon World, and it looks great, but I know it's a terrible game in many ways. Just really unfortunate they didn't flesh out. They just tried to rush it so they could get it out and compete with Planet Coaster. They released it the day before, and it just flopped so bad. Chaos. Do you think that RMC will build another launch wooden coaster? Um, I'm gonna say no. I really hope they do. I want to see another one, but with all the issues that Lightning Rod has had, I don't think any other parks are gonna want to put a lot of money into something like that. Oh, Rings of Earth. You're talking about the mobile RCT. Stanford Bird says, "Do you watch the channel called the Chain Lift?" Oh yes, I love the Chain Lift. They watch my channel as well, which I think is awesome. I love the Chain Lift. Really, really goofy guys. I love it. They're great, and I listened to their newest podcast episode, which was awesome as well. Yeah, those guys are great. Coaster Lover 2001 RCT3 doesn't have the greatest AI, but I think it's still a great game. I absolutely agree with all of that. And also, there's Parkitect. Yeah, I've seen screenshots of Parkitect, and I know everybody loves that game, but looking at the screenshots, I'm just like, I don't know. But maybe I should actually try it somehow and just like see if I actually like it. I've heard a lot of great things about it. I am looking at screenshots right now again. And to be honest, now that I'm looking at it again, it really does look great. It looks like an awesome game. Looks like a lot of fun for sure. It's like a modern spiritual successor to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. So, but honestly, I would just rather play Open RCT 2, I think. Coaster Lover 2001. Do you watch Great American Coasters? I discovered and subscribed to their channel about 1 to 2 months ago. Yeah, that's around the time I subscribed to him as well. Great channel for sure. You guys should definitely go check out Great American Coasters. Really great upcoming channel for sure. Okay, yeah, Stanford Bridge on Chainlift's podcast. The Chainlift guys always advertise their friend's company, Green Glass Coffee, out of Paw Paw, Michigan. And actually, the Adam, I think, is the one out of the Chainlift that's a graphic designer. He designed all their logo and branding and stuff like that, and he does great work. So, yeah, awesome stuff. OK Coasters is another channel I recently discovered and subscribed to. Oh, OK Coasters is just something on a whole new level. Really special videos there. He does really, really great work. His channel, OK Coasters, really is something special. It's great. He does really good work. Oh, yeah, good point, Stanford Burge. Maybe you should try it. You know, maybe I should. I'll have to get a hold of those guys and see if I can work something out. If you guys are watching, I would love to try that coffee. I'll try to get a hold of them and see how I can get some of that coffee. Yeah. Good idea. Good idea. Tim K says Fred Grubb said if RMC does another launch, it will be done in-house. But as you say, if they get another chance. Yeah, Lightning Rod's launch was handled by a third-party company, and I think that was where a lot of the issues came in. I actually listening to Your Favorite Coaster Sucks newest episode yesterday, they were talking about that. And apparently RMC did want to do it in-house, but it didn't happen that way. And I think that was where a lot of the issues came from. So it would make sense. Yeah, Open RCT2 is absolutely phenomenal. Chaos says, how do you join a coaster club? Online. I mean, I joined Ace Online. You can just do it all online. So, and they send you a card in the mail. I haven't got my card yet, but yeah, it will come soon. I just joined like maybe 2 weeks ago, if that. Do you think RMC will build another launch coaster? Already answered that question. Yeah, Rings of Earth. Yeah, Airtime Thrills did do a sort of collaboration with OK Coasters. OK Coasters did the intro on his most painful coasters from each manufacturer video. Stanford Bridge says just Google Green Glass Coffee and order some. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if they had like a website set up where you could go order it, so I'll have to do that. Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tip. I will try to do that soon. Chris Clare says, will you be at CP Memorial Weekend? I try to avoid Cedar Point on holiday weekends. If I do go on a holiday weekend, if it isn't too busy, where I could still get into the park without much of an issue, I might still go and just like take pictures and video and stuff. Cause busy days like that, that's a good time to get like footage and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'm staying away. So, Rings of Earth. Remember, I said Six Flags America could be sold off? Well, when I went there in October, it wasn't good. And I found my least favorite coaster there, Mind Eraser. Yeah, Six Flags America is known as one of the worst parks out there. So, not surprising. Stamford Bridge. Okay, Coasters doesn't like to say where he lives, but I have to admit I'm always curious which state that accent is from. I feel that it should be obvious. Okay, my friend was actually talking to me about this, and he was actually asking the same thing. Like, where do you think he's from? My friend thinks he's from Alabama, so I don't know. Pretty interesting. Jason Rife says, I think somewhere down the line RMC will build another launch, but it'll be on a Raptor or T-Rex or some other model they develop. Very well could be. I could definitely see them doing something like that on like the T-Rex. So, have you been to Six Flags Great America? No. Hopefully September. Maybe September I'll go. Rings of Earth. Do you think GCI could build a launch coaster? They said their new trains could do launches. I think they could build a launch coaster. Will they? I think that's a stretch to say they will, but maybe. I would love to see it. Oh, Jason Rife says, okay, coasters. Home park, he says, is Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. So he must be from Virginia or somewhere around there. Okay. That's right. He did mention that. Oh, Tim K brings up a good point. What do I think of Cedar Point's just for fun weekend? Well, I'll tell you what, I am not paying $20 just to ride some of the smaller flat rides and a couple coasters, because Cedar Point is doing this thing harkening back to the old days where for like pass holders, I think just platinum pass holders, you can get in before the park actually opens to the public. I can't remember which day, but you get into Cedar Point for free, but you can buy a ticket ahead of time to get on certain rides that they'll have open. So it'll be kind of like the way Cedar Point used to be, where you walk in for free. I don't know. It sounds kind of cool. I might go and just get in the park just so I can check it out, but I probably won't buy that ticket just so I can ride some of the rides. All right, lots of talk about the coaster channels here. Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna be cutting this live stream right here. Okay. One thing quick though. Tim K says that Cedar Point's just for fun weekend is for everyone. My bad. That's I did read about it on Cedar Point's website, but there were so many events on there I was reading about. I couldn't remember all the details. So it's open for everyone. So anybody can buy a ticket for $20 ahead of time. You have to buy it online like ahead of time, and then you can get in there and just ride certain rides that they'll have open. Actually, let me look it up here. And we'll discuss the details, because this is something good to discuss. All right, so May 2nd and May 3rd from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. The 150th anniversary season kicks off in true retro style with the Just for Fun weekend. Relive Cedar Point's past when visiting the park was free and each attraction had its own admission price. Guests must RSVP in advance to receive their complimentary admission at cedarpoint.com. So it's kind of cool that they're doing that, but in a more cynical viewpoint in my mind is like they're also just doing it to like cash in, get some extra money. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It gives some people who really can't afford to visit Cedar Point on, more regularly, it gives, people a chance to maybe experience it a little cheaper, or maybe people who haven't been there just to get like a sneak peek of it to see if they want to like buy a pass or whatever, or just to go and just try to relive that nostalgic experience. Um, it's cool. I think it's cool that they're doing that. So yeah, and you have to register to get the free entry as well. So you know, it's not really like the old days like they're saying it is, because you have to go online and register and be like, "Hey, I'm going to come here." And then you can get in, but you got to show them something so you can get in. So it's not like you can just walk in like you used to. Hellfire says, "Thank you for caring about your fans." Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for supporting my channel. I appreciate it. So, oh, GP Coaster's here. Popped in late, but I'm glad you're doing this at noon now. Hope everyone makes it through this coaster quarantine together without going stir crazy. Amen to that. Amen to that. And wash those hands, people. Keep washing those hands. Shouldn't even have to try to drill this into everybody's heads. It should just be common practice. But wash those hands, please. And don't go to public places if you don't really absolutely have to, because, I mean, I have gone to places myself, but I try not to. I try to stay away from a lot of places, just use some common sense. Just, yeah. We need to get through this. So, did I enter for the ticket of a lifetime at Cedar Point? I have not done that. I don't know if I will, because I'll probably just keep buying the platinum pass, but it's definitely something great that they're doing, I think. Okay, Tim K says that Cedar Point's just for fun weekend. Regarding that, he says, I agree. It's a money grab that used to be a free friends and family weekend to get the new employees trained up. Okay, I didn't realize it was replacing that. So yeah, that's really kind of like, I think it'd be better if they just kept the free friends and family weekend. Yeah. Did I get a brick for the sidewalk for Cedar Point? No, I did not. I don't have tons of extra money to pour into stuff like that. I'd rather save it for passes and tickets to parks and going to places like that. So I guess it'd be kind of cool to have a brick there, but not exactly worth it to me, to be honest. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end this live stream here. I just want to thank you guys so much again for joining me and watching Coaster 10 of, or Coaster 10, episode 10 of Coaster Cafe. So, once again, really appreciate it. You guys show up here every week. We always have a great time discussing things. I think this episode went pretty well, and I didn't have any issues this time, so that was good. So hopefully hopefully that trend continues into the coming weeks, and hopefully we can get through all of this that's going on right now together by talking about coasters and spreading love. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and this is Coaster Daddy. So I will see you guys again next Saturday at noon. Okay, so that's right, the new time for Coaster Cafe is at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. So I'll see you guys then. Have a good one. Bye.